Mysterious flying objects have been appearing across the world. And the footage is impossible to ignore. Glowing crafts, strange objects, and encounters that cannot be explained.
Here it comes.
Join us as we've got some of the strongest evidence that you haven't seen before. In Vinton, Ohio, biker Rafael Torres came across something he still can't explain. While riding, a strange black object glided silently above him. It wasn't a plane or a drone. It was a flawless, shiny sphere floating smoothly through the air. And just when Rafael thought it couldn't get stranger, two military jets suddenly roared into view, trailing right behind it. That moment convinced him the sphere wasn't ordinary. Whatever it was important enough for the military to chase it down. Booga sphere. A clip from Booga, Colombia has been blowing up online. Locals talked about a metallic sphere flying over the city, but no one had proof until one man claimed he found the same sphere deep in a forest. His video shows strange engravings with a chip-like pattern in the center. Scientists tested it and got spooked. The object didn't heat up, its weight shifted unpredictably, and nothing on Earth acts like that. People started saying out loud that this object might not be from Earth at all. Yumbo sphere. In Colombia's Yumbo region, farmer Jorge Mendoza was walking his field when he noticed something above him. It was a metallic sphere, hovering as if surveying his crops. It wasn't darting around or glitching like a drone. Instead, it drifted slowly and purposefully, scanning the area below. Jorge considered that maybe it was part of some industrial test. After all, Yumbo is full of factories and companies. But even then, who would release an experimental machine into open skies? An hour later, the sphere vanished into the distance, leaving Jorge convinced that what he saw was an extraterrestrial object. Metallic spheres.
Wait a sec, what was that?
In August 2025, Medellin, Colombia, became the scene of another strange sky event. Two silvery spheres appeared overhead, moving in ways no balloon ever could. They accelerated, swapped positions, then returned to exactly where they'd started, as if following programmed instructions. The movements looked deliberate, almost tactical. Locals noted Medellin has a history of odd aerial sightings, and this one only deepened the city's reputation for unexplained phenomena. Whatever those spheres were, they weren't drifting at random. Asheville lights. In Asheville, North Carolina, a crowd spotted two glowing objects hovering high above the city. Their strange light didn't resemble any drone, plane, or probe anyone had seen before.
What the is that, bruh?
But then, something even stranger happened. The two glowing sources drifted toward each other until they merged into one, and then, just as suddenly, they vanished. It was the first and last time such a sight was reported in the city. With no explanation, it left everyone who saw it unsettled, wondering if they had witnessed something unearthly.
What?
Black sphere. On December 17, 2022, a property surveyor flew his drone over an abandoned stretch of Porterville, California, planning to map the land for a new project. Instead, he caught something extraordinary. High above, a black metallic-looking sphere hovered with precision. 045, 130.
Look.
It moved deliberately, gliding over the empty streets. 320. He kept the drone locked on the object, documenting every second. 4:04. Then, without warning, it slipped out of sight and was gone. The man later said he was convinced he hadn't captured a drone or balloon at all, but something far beyond human technology. Backyard portal.
Oh, what is that?
It was a quiet night in Chile, and over some ordinary house, a classic flying saucer was just sitting there. Then, right in front of it, a glowing hole opened in midair, like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Then, all of a sudden, the craft glided into the opening, and both vanished instantly.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
It's
whoa.
just floating there.
Witnesses said they stood frozen, realizing they might have just watched a ship jump into another world above someone's backyard. Triangular craft. In 2016, a woman driving through rural Western England glanced up and saw an enormous craft gliding across the sky. It was silent and oddly shaped. No wings, no cockpit, just a sharp-edged triangle drifting above the fields. She kept her phone on as she drove, tracking the same direction for nearly 20 minutes. Eventually, the unease became too much. She turned off onto another road and left it behind, unsure what she'd just witnessed, but certain it wasn't a normal plane. Vineyard UFO.
Su puta madre. Está moviendo esa chingadera.
Carlos Herrera was driving toward his vineyard near Garcia, Spain, when he spotted a metallic object resting in the distance. Its size and shape reminded him of a massive spacecraft, and he was sure it hadn't been there the day before.
Su puta madre. Está moviendo esa chingadera.
He drove this road daily. Carlos filmed from a distance, but refused to approach. The unsettling sight was enough for him to turn back, leaving the mystery to whoever might be brave enough to investigate.
Más vi que bajó y me paré.
Lightning over Murray.
Here it comes, here it comes.
One UFO in the sky can feel strange, but seeing a cluster of them is another story entirely. On April 20th, 2025, residents of Murray, Kentucky looked up to find several large objects hovering unusually low.
Here it comes.
They weren't just floating. They seemed to freeze in midair, sparking flashes of what looked like man-made lightning. Some whispered about power grid attacks, others admitted they had no clue what they were watching. Since no official report ever surfaced, the only record left is the witnesses' memories of that night. Mountain UFO. An anonymously leaked clip has been circulating online, supposedly filmed at a hidden installation built atop a remote mountain. Hovering directly above the compound is a massive triangular craft, eerily similar to the rumored TR-3B, a black-budget spy plane many believe incorporates alien tech. The footage shows the craft rotating slowly, then firing a brilliant beam of light toward the facility below, almost like a pickup or scan. Seconds later, it shoots skyward and vanishes. The crystal-clear video leaves viewers stunned, but the mystery of its unnamed source makes it even harder to trust or dismiss. Crash landing. One of the most unsettling Cold War tales comes from Sverdlovsk in the Soviet Union. Rumors claim that a UFO crashed there, and the Soviet military secured the wreckage. The story resurfaced in the 90s with what people called the secret KGB UFO files, leaked documents hinting at reverse engineering alien tech. Some locals swear they glimpsed the wreck before officials sealed the site. Others talked about witnesses who mysteriously disappeared. If even a part of this is true, then the Cold War wasn't just fought with missiles, but also in a hidden race to control technology from beyond Earth. Mountain scan. If otherworldly beings wanted to stay hidden on Earth, remote mountains would be the perfect hideout. That thought turned real for one hiker with a camera. While filming the scenery, he caught a craft above the peaks, shining bright beams onto the ground like it was scanning the area. Then, without warning, the lights cut out and the craft dropped as if to land. The raw footage feels untouched, leaving skeptics grasping for explanations. Italian orbs. In Italy, a resident filming from his apartment caught two glowing spheres near a military helicopter. At first, it looked like the chopper was chasing them, but then one orb split into two, making 3 lights total. Online debates blew up. Was it a secret training mission, coincidence, or something stranger, with the helicopter actually accompanying whatever those lights were? No one has a clear answer. Night orbs. A jaw-dropping video from Dallas, Texas shows glowing orbs in the night sky, perfectly spaced like they were holding formation. Dozens of people recorded the scene as the objects hovered silently overhead, making the moment both fascinating and unnerving. One after another, the lights faded until nothing was left, almost like they'd completed a task before vanishing. Some call them drones, but the way they moved was too deliberate, too synchronized. Whatever they were, it felt like we were witnessing something not meant to be seen.
Someone called the cops on these lights. They're going crazy. Aliens are attacking!
UFO sighting. Hiking deep into a lesser-known trail in Spain's Sierra Nevada, Daniel Johnson stumbled onto something he couldn't believe. In the distance, above the rugged peaks, a metallic saucer-shaped object glinted in the sunlight. It was too far to identify as anything conventional, yet the classic UFO silhouette was unmistakable. He immediately pulled out his phone, capturing as much as he could. The experience rattled him so badly that he turned around and left the trail, vowing never to hike that path again after what he'd just witnessed. Edomex hover disk. On June 25, 2017, in Edomex, Mexico, witnesses stared upward as a massive metallic disc with a glowing ring appeared above the city. It seemed to materialize out of the clouds around 6 in the evening, then held its position, slowly spinning right over the rooftops. The strange craft remained visible for about 30 minutes before climbing back into the sky and fading away. The person who filmed it admits they still don't know what they captured, only that it wasn't anything they'd ever seen before. Winged shape. In 2018, during an evening jog in Kissimmee, Florida, Robert Hensley spotted a massive dark form gliding silently overhead. It had huge bird-like wings, but the wings didn't move at all. Across its body flickered patterns of strange lights he'd never seen before. He quickly recorded the object and posted it online, asking if anyone knew what it was. While some called it an experimental military drone, others argued it could only be a craft, not from Earth. The unusual footage still fuels debate to this day. Portal over Stavropol. At about 3 a.m. in Stavropol, Russia, Anastasia Volkova stared out her window at a glowing object rising slowly into the sky. Its color made her think of a meteor at first, but it wasn't falling. It was climbing. Then, right above it, a glowing circle appeared, like a doorway in midair. She watched the object pass straight through before the circle sealed shut. The event felt so unreal that without her phone recording, she says she'd have assumed it was a dream. Close encounter. A private test pilot was flying his small plane when something darted toward him. At first, he assumed it was another aircraft or even a bird, keeping his distance to avoid a collision. But when it zoomed past, he caught a clear view. It was shaped like a saucer. Thinking he'd misjudged, he kept flying. But moments later, it appeared again. This time hovering right alongside his plane. That was the moment he knew he was looking at something truly out of the ordinary. Metallic disc. Military logs and pilot testimonies have stacked up over the years, but one case shook Navy pilots deeply. Near a mountain range, they saw a silvery disc floating in the sky. No wings, no engines, not even the faintest sound. Sunlight reflected so sharply off its smooth body that it hid every other detail.
In our airspace, whether it's directly overhead or in our coastal waters, we need to figure out.
The Navy acknowledged the encounter, but quickly locked away the files. To some, the silence itself was a sign. Maybe it wasn't a random object at all. Maybe it was something monitoring us, quietly watching military activity. Green lights. On May 16, 2022, San Antonio residents looked up expecting a meteor shower when the sky glowed green. But instead of falling rocks, 3 bright objects hovered in formation, moving slowly together. The video cuts off before the ending, but the uploader swears the lights drifted out of orbit. The strangest part? Local news never touched the story, feeding rumors that someone wanted the whole thing kept quiet. Cloud cloak.
Wow, that's beautiful.
A man's routine late-night drive turned strange when he noticed an enormous cloud stretching over the sky. Its underside wasn't dark like normal clouds. It was glowing, casting light downward as though something inside was powering it. Online debates exploded when he posted the clip.
Wow.
Some swore this was proof that UFOs hide in plain sight by disguising themselves as clouds, quietly observing the world below. Others dismissed it as a camera trick or atmospheric glitch. Regardless, the glowing cloud left people wondering how much of what we see above us is really what it seems. Sudden appearance. On November 1st, 2013, people across Houston, Texas, were jolted awake by bursts of light outside their windows. Expecting thunder, they instead found a UFO hanging in the sky. It spun in one spot, flashing bright lights while police gathered below, unable to act. Then it sent a powerful beam down, as if targeting something or someone on the ground. The clip ends there, and despite being filmed in such a major city, nothing official ever followed. The silence made the event even more unsettling. Over the pyramids. Visitors to the Giza pyramids in April 2016 thought they were in for history, not mystery. First came a deep humming from above, then a fleet of odd aerial shapes floated over the pyramid tips. They looked like tiny upside-down vehicles spinning on the spot, advanced yet silent. Tourists filmed from every angle, uploading the surreal scene. Many called it an alien fleet seeking the pyramid's secrets. No one knows exactly when the crafts left, and Egyptian officials have stayed quiet ever since. Highway freeze.
We have to talk about what happened in Jersey on Monday. People thought they saw a UFO. Some even got out of their cars. Watch.
Drivers on Route 21 in New Jersey came to a halt in 2020, not for traffic, but for a glowing craft hanging above the highway. Cars sat in the middle of the road as everyone tried to process what they were seeing.
Yo, I don't know, but everybody stopped to see the aliens. It says, that's what everybody's saying, bro.
Some believed it was advanced surveillance technology. Others thought it had slipped through from another dimension. Whatever it was, people who saw it that night say they never looked at the sky the same way again. Unknown craft. A shaky older video from March 12, 2011 shows a man alone on a San Francisco beach at sunrise. Through the clouds, a huge craft appears. At first he thought it was a drone, but it was far too big, and there was nobody else around. His voice on the video trembles as he realizes it's not anything familiar. Moments later, he bolts from the beach, leaving viewers with a haunting glimpse of the unknown. Saucer mystery. UFO sightings aren't rare, but this one is on a different level. A recently shared video shows a disc-shaped craft drifting across the sky, trailing a thick cloud of smoke behind it. Viewers were stunned, thinking the object might be malfunctioning. Things escalated when flames appeared around its edges, as if it was burning mid-air. Many believe it crashed somewhere deep in the nearby woods. The story didn't end there. Rumors now swirl online, claiming government teams reached the site first, retrieved the wreckage, and quietly locked the whole thing away from the public. Light beam. Think alien abductions are all myths? This video makes it harder to dismiss. A saucer-shaped craft floats over a desolate area while a camera zooms in. Underneath, a lone figure stands motionless. Suddenly, a powerful flash of white light shoots down, and the person instantly vanishes. No running, no trace, just gone. In the same second, the UFO bolts upward and disappears into the sky. People who've seen the clip keep asking the same thing. Who was that person? Was it a bystander who pulled up, or something else entirely leaving Earth? Extraterrestrial fleet. Victor Salazar, a science teacher on holiday at Lake Chelan, Washington, was filming the calm scenery when something extraordinary happened. From behind the hills, strange aerial shapes began to rise. Not one, but a fleet of at least 5 saucers emerged at once, lifting in formation. Within moments, they streaked upward and out of sight, leaving no trace. Victor's mind raced. Could there be a hidden base tucked behind those hills launching these crafts? He never went to find out, but the footage he captured left him and viewers stunned. Airborne saucer. It happened in April 2017. A business traveler flying from Spain to Germany glanced out her window mid-flight and froze. Outside, a classic disc-shaped craft floated at the same altitude as the plane. No balloon or random debris could possibly hang there without dropping. So she grabbed her phone and started filming. The object drifted steadily away from the aircraft, moving like a controlled vehicle, rather than something drifting. Before long, it slipped into the distance and was gone. As unbelievable as it seemed, she was left with only one conclusion. She might have just filmed a real flying saucer.
Come this way, Jim.
Strange lights. Norway became the backdrop for one of the most dazzling sky events people had ever seen. A glowing orb hovered over the water, while above it a luminous ring shimmered, pulsing as though alive. Together they shifted in perfect rhythm, like a choreographed dance no one could explain. The ring swelled outward, its colors sliding from soft blue to electric violet, mesmerizing onlookers. Videos hit the internet within hours, sparking debates about alien portals, magnetic storms, or some strange natural phenomenon no scientist had named yet. Blinding beam incident. A few nights ago, people witnessed something straight out of science fiction. A piercing white light flared high in the sky, so bright it lit the ground like daylight. From it, a flickering beam shot downward, pulsing wildly. Witnesses whispered about alien abductions, convinced someone was being taken right then. Others speculated about crop circles being carved by a laser from above. No one came forward with an explanation. No authorities claimed responsibility. All that remains is shaky footage and hundreds of stunned spectators replaying what they saw. Sky Giant. A bizarre night sky event has stunned viewers worldwide. At first, it looked like several bright orbs floating in formation, but as the clip continues, it becomes clear they're all part of one enormous rotating object. The slow spin and the way the lights link together make it feel more like a colossal craft than a cluster of drones. Online theories split fast. Some insist it's an alien ship of a design never seen before, while others whisper about US anti-gravity tests. Whatever it was, the footage has sent forums and comment sections into overdrive. Spinning wheel. In Pacentro, Italy, tourists had their cameras ready for the view, but ended up catching something far stranger. High above them, a brilliant point of light appeared, so bright it looked like a star outshining the sun. Only when they zoomed in did they realize it was a huge wheel-shaped object, turning in place with a blinding glow at its center. For 4 hours it stayed there, silent and unmoving except for the spin, before disappearing completely. People on the ground left convinced they'd just seen an alien-built machine hanging over their town. Orb in peaks. A new mountaintop UFO clip has everyone buzzing. In it, a glowing orb throws beams of light outward in every direction, flashing like a sci-fi searchlight or some strange laser show. Commenters speculate wildly. Everything from abducting hikers to mapping the terrain for reasons we can't understand. The video went viral within hours, pulling in experts and skeptics alike, yet no clear answer has surfaced. Whether a natural fluke, a prank, or something genuinely unearthly, it's the kind of footage that makes you want to head to the mountains and see for yourself. Window sighting. A guest at a mountain resort pulled back his curtain and spotted something odd hanging over the treetops. A single glowing object floated in place, almost like it was lining up for a landing. Then, without warning, it released a handful of smaller lights that drifted away before the main glow slid behind the trees and vanished. Some online call it the clearest evidence yet of alien visitors. Others argue it's more likely a quiet military test. Either way, the brief sight left everyone who saw the clip unsettled and curious. Triangle Watcher. On January 22nd, 2022, residents of Guatemala were startled by a deep rolling sound from the sky before 3 brilliant lights appeared above them. At first, people thought they were just stars, but the glow soon revealed a single, massive, triangular craft hanging motionless over the city. Witnesses described feeling as if it was silently observing everything below, like an unseen mind watching them. The strange ship stayed in place throughout the night and was gone by morning, but the feeling of being under surveillance didn't fade with daylight. Scanning orb. One August evening in New Jersey, a man noticed a glowing orb hanging quietly above his neighborhood. It hovered there until a sudden beam of light shot downward, flaring so bright it momentarily overwhelmed his camera. The orb's smooth, controlled movement seemed deliberate, almost like it was scanning the area. While some dismissed it as a helicopter, locals argued its precision was unlike any aircraft they knew. To many, it felt less like a machine from Earth and more like a probe silently studying the ground below. ISS mystery craft. NASA found itself at the center of an online debate after a strange moment on the International Space Station's live stream. Viewers watched as a satellite camera zoomed in on a massive object with wing-like structures angled upward as if to steady it. Nothing in Earth's fleet looks like it, and its proximity to the planet's orbit made it even more suspicious. The clip has fueled rumors of an alien vessel quietly circling our world, raising questions NASA hasn't yet addressed. Massive objects. A passenger on a commercial flight started filming out of the window after noticing something unusual below. 3 enormous objects were flying in tight formation under the plane, each surrounded by a faint blue glow, as though shielded by a magnetic field. People online suggested this could be how unidentified crafts avoid detection by radar and ground systems. The sheer size and precision of the 3 objects moving with a passenger jet left viewers uneasy. If they can fly that close unnoticed, what else might they be capable of? Night Watcher. In Monterrey, Mexico, a security guard named Carlos Mendez saw something unusual during his shift. High above, a craft with bright blinking lights hovered motionless. Its full outline wasn't clear, but the lights alone were enough to catch his attention. Carlos recorded the sight and uploaded the video, explaining that the mysterious object remained there the entire time he worked that night. The clip quickly raised questions about what exactly was over the city skies.
Muy buen registro, por cierto.
Figures inside saucer. One viral video showed a classic saucer-shaped craft hovering just above the ground, moving slowly as though studying its surroundings. But what unsettled viewers most weren't its movements or shape. It was the faint shadows visible inside the craft's windows. Some claimed these were figures watching from within, not just reflections. Its smooth, natural glide looked nothing like a hoax, making it harder to brush off. The thought lingered for many. Was this a casual visit, or something being planned on a larger scale? Recurring disc. Around 6:30 in the evening near Florida's Space Coast, a factory worker finally captured on camera what he'd been seeing for weeks, a glowing, round disc moving silently across the sky. In his clip, the object glides steadily, its surface itself glowing instead of reflecting sunlight. In the description, he explains this wasn't his first encounter at that exact time of day, but it was the first time he managed to grab his phone in time. To him, the repeated appearance wasn't random. It felt like whatever it was kept returning to that same spot for a reason. Bouncing orb.
Look, it's separating from itself.
One quiet night in Oklahoma, a homeowner spotted a brilliant orb hanging over his property, shining brighter than anything else in the sky. At first, it drifted smoothly, but then it jerked backward like it had hit an invisible wall.
What is that? Like some sort of pulse energy or something.
Even stranger, a faint ring of light formed around it before it shot off into the distance. The unusual movement ruled out rockets or drones for many who saw the video. Whatever its origin, its precise, almost deliberate behavior left viewers debating if it was scanning, signaling, or testing something in the air.
What is that? Like some sort of pulse energy or something.
Mysterious cloud.
Right behind the mountains where they're gonna land.
On September 2nd, 2025, people in Downey, Idaho, noticed what looked like a small cloud, but shaped like a saucer. It stayed in one place instead of drifting with the wind, its faint glow visible even in daylight. Reports came from Utah, too, of the same formation appearing days apart.
You don't think that had anything to do with that thing?
While some dismissed it as a rare optical effect, others believed a craft was hiding in plain sight. If that's true, then whatever its mission was, it stayed perfectly hidden, except to those who looked closely.
Right behind the mountains where they're gonna land.
Orb meets saucer. Broad daylight in New York is the last place anyone expects a UFO, yet a huge saucer was caught on video, hovering high above the city as if waiting. Then a glowing orb zipped upward and slipped straight inside. The instant it vanished, the saucer started moving again. That one sequence convinced viewers the orbs weren't random lights at all, but messengers, scanning, collecting, and returning information before rejoining their craft. If that's the case, they've likely been here far longer than anyone realizes. Ring in sky. In 2021, a driver pulled over, stunned by a glowing ring suspended high in the sky. It looked like an atmospheric illusion, until several crafts appeared one by one, each gliding straight toward the circle and vanishing through it. When the last craft disappeared, the glowing ring faded as though it had never been there. Analysts later said the precision looked deliberate, calling it a controlled event, possibly even a glimpse at interdimensional travel caught by accident. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.